Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to study about data exploration. Now, what is this data exploration? Data exploration is nothing but it is a descriptive analysis, okay? It is the analysis of your data. In order to understand your data, we carry out data exploration using some Python libraries. Now the question arises, why do we use Python language only? It is because of the ease of that language. It is very easy to understand. That is why we will be using the Python language here in order to explore our data. So let's get started. Here I will be using a Google Colab in order to do the data exploration. So here I have mentioned some of the steps, okay? I have written some of the questions in order to understand the data well. So the first step here is to import the necessary libraries. So here we are going to use two important libraries. That is, we are going to use the matplotlib library and the pandas library. We are going to use pandas library and matplotlib. Now, what will this pandas library used for? It is basically used for data exploration, or you can say for the data pre-processing. We are going to use this particular library for data pre-processing. Whereas matplotlib library is used for data visualization. So the first step here is to import these libraries. How do I import? By simply using the import command, I will be importing the particular libraries. So here I am importing the matplotlib library as PLT. Similarly, I will import the pandas library as import pandas as PD. Now, whatever functions I am going to use from these libraries, I can access them using these variables, or you can say objects. PLT for the functions of matplotlib library and PD is used for the functions of pandas library. Then, second step is to import the dataset from the address. Now, which dataset we are going to analyze? Which dataset are we going to explore? So, that particular thing we are going to take from this address. So, let me just click on this. So here you can observe I have the data set of one store. Okay, let's say there is some supermarket, and from that supermarket there is some orders, right? Some items are there which is being purchased. So we are going to explore this data set. So what do? I'll just click on this, copy this. Here I'm going to declare it. I'm going to import the data set. So first what I'll do, I'll just take one URL. I've taken an object called URL, and here I am storing this particular address. Now I want to read this particular data set. Now you can observe this is tab space, right? This particular data set is, you can observe all the data is being separated by the tab spaces. Now I will read it in the form of CSV. So in order to read the data, what I will do, I will use one function called as pd.read underscore CSV. Now I am going to read the data set in the CSV format, that is comma separated format. So first parameter is going to be your URL, comma separator. Now here I am going to give the separator as tab space. Okay. So here I am calling this function to read the data set in the CSV format. So now I should collect it in one variable. So for that I'll just write here df and just print that. So in order to run the cells, what I'm going to do, simply use shift enter to run the cell. Okay, run anyways. So initially it will take some time to run because it is connecting. You can observe here. Okay, now you can observe when I am running this, I am getting this error that PD is not defined, which means that we haven't imported the library. So the moment you type this, you have to run this cell. So you can run the cell by simply clicking on this icon or you can use shift enter to run the cell. Now if I run this error will be gone. This is our data set. So here you can observe, here I have all the serial numbers. This is the order ID, the quantities, item name, choice description and item price. Now you can observe there are around 4622 rows and 5 columns in this data set. Now we are going to basically explore this. Now let's say I just want to print the first 5 entries. To see the first 5 entries, I will simply use df.head. I'll use this function to print the first 5 entries. Similarly, now let's say if you want to print the last 5 entries. So what you can do, you can observe this code icon, click on this, you'll get a cell here. Run df.tail function. When I run this, you'll get the last 5 entries. So in this way, you can extract the information from the data set, necessary information, and read about it and get the information. Then, what is the next question? What is the number of observation in the data set? That is, how many rows and columns are there? Now let's say specifically you want to know how many rows and columns are there. In that case, you have to simply use the function called as df.shape. If I run this, you'll be able to get the output. You can observe there are 4622 rows and 5 columns. Same thing is present over here as well. Right? Now you might tell me that I just want to know how many columns are there, or I want to print the column names. So in order to print the column names, what we will do? Simply we will use df.column. Run it and check the columns. So you'll get all the column names. You can observe I have order ID, then I have quantity, item name, choice description and item price. These are the 5 column names. You can cross verify here. You can observe. I hope you are able to follow. Okay. Now let's say I want to slice between the rows. I want to extract only 5 rows. I don't want to extract the first 5 rows. See, in order to extract the first 5 rows, I have used df.head function. I want to extract intermediate rows. I want to extract, let's say, from 5th row to 10th row. Then that I can do by using slicing. So for that, simply what you have to do, write df of 5:10. Now here what I'll get the 5 rows starting from the address, starting from the row 5 up to 9. You can observe. If you want from 6 to 10, then you can just change this number, run and check. You'll get from the row 6. So in this way, you can extract a specific piece of information from your data set and work on it. Then, moving ahead to getting the subset of data frame or the series. Now here you can observe, I have just mentioned about the rows, how many rows I want to extract. Now let's say you want to provide the information along with the rows, you want to add some columns as well. So that you can do using one operator called as iloc. So here what I'll do, I'll simply write df.iloc. Okay, and here I will provide that rows and column. Now I'll give 1:4, comma 1:3. So this first parameter here refers to the row, and this second parameter, see, usually whenever you write anything in the square brackets, those are known as parameters. Okay, and they are going to be separated by this comma. So this is your first parameter, this is the second parameter. So first parameter indicates the row, how many rows you want to add. So 1:4 means what? 1 up to 4. 4 is not included. It is going to be 1, 2 and 3. And here you are going to include the columns. Same way, 1:3 means what? From the first column up to 3. Up to 3 means what? 1, 2. 3 is not included. Let's run and check. You can observe, we are getting only 3 rows. And here I am getting 1 and 2. You can observe, Here I have order ID, quantity, item name. So column name starts from 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is going to be 1 and 2. That's what we are getting. I hope you are able to follow. Any doubts so far? Okay. So now let's move to the next question. That is, which was the most ordered item? Now you can observe here in our data set there are a number of items. There is chips and fresh tomato salsa. There is a chicken bowl, right? Chicken salad and so on. Now which item is ordered most? In order to know that, what I can do, I will just extract the information from this item name column. So here let us try to write the logic for it. So here I'll write df of item name. You can observe, just click on item underscore name, okay, dot value count dot head of 1. So here what I am doing, from the item name column I am trying to extract the most ordered item, which item is ordered most of the time, okay, and I am gonna also print the count of that, how many times it is being ordered, okay, and head of 1 indicates only one item I am going to list. So let's run and check. So it is chicken bowl that is ordered most of the time, okay. Then now let's say you want to know a few items. Let's say first 5 items you want to know which is ordered most. This is only one item, right? Now let's say you want to know minimum 5 items which is ordered the most. So for that what I'll do, I'll just copy this thing, same command I'll copy and I'll make changes here. What is that change? Remove this 1 from here, and here I will store this information in one variable and print that variable. See, head means what? It will list first 5 items, and since I have added this particular attribute to it, which means that it is going to give you the first 5 items which is ordered the most, okay. So you can see chicken bowl is ordered the most, value count is 726. Then you have chicken burrito and so on. I hope you are getting it. Now the next question is what? Plot a graph for the same. Now let's say you want to show a pictorial representation of the same. So in order to show the pictorial representation, now I'm going to draw the plot for it. So let me add one block of cell. So here I am going to use the matplotlib library, okay. So I'll draw a bar graph, okay. So I'll just write here plt.bar, okay. So here I'll use z.index, comma z.value, comma color, I'll give it as green. You can give any color here, okay. Then here we are trying this plt.bar indicates plot a bar graph, okay. For which values? First thing is that first parameter is you are indicating that plot for these values, okay. This is going to be your x-axis. In x-axis you are going to provide all these names of the items, that is chicken bowl, chicken burrito and so on. All your item names are going to be across your x-axis. In your y-axis you have all the values and you are going to represent it in the green color, okay. Then what I'll do, I'll just run one for loop here. For I in the range length of z, okay. Here I will also add the text, that is plt.text. I'm going to use this function to add the text for all the I values. Then I have here z of I, comma z of I, comma HA is equal to center. Okay. Then I'll add one more thing, that is plt dot xticks. Okay, let me not add this first. Then I'll just write plt dot show. Okay, so here basically this first line indicates we are trying to draw a bar graph, okay, with the x-axis as our item names, y-axis as their values, and I'm going to represent it in the green color. Okay, then here I'm running a for loop for I in the range of length of z. Okay, in this range we are going to run the for loop, and we are going to print the text as well. Okay, now let's run and check this output. You can observe we are getting the output like this. We are getting the bar graph like this. Now you can observe here I have chicken bowl, burrito, and so on. But these names are not proper, right? In order to write these names properly or in the readable format, what I'll do, I will just add one more line here. I'll just write here plt dot xticks. Okay, and here I'm going to rotate it to 90 degree. Rotation is equal to 90. I can observe we are able to see it in this particular format. I have rotated the x-axis names, right, towards the 90 degrees. So by looking at this graph also, the data is now in a more readable format. That is why we prefer the graphs, because you don't have to go one line by line. Okay, chicken bowl is 726, burrito is 553. So reading the format in this particular data in this particular format is little troublesome. Only 5 are there, so no problem. If you have thousands of things here, this becomes very tedious task. But by just looking at this graph, you will get to know, right? Okay, this is the highest, and then we have like this. So graphical representation of data is always easy to understand. Okay, that is one advantage of it. Now moving to the next question. Now let's say you want to know for the most ordered item, how many items were added. Now by looking at this graph, can you tell me which item was ordered maximum times? How many items were ordered? See, the most ordered item is chicken ball. How many times it was ordered? 726. Correct? Yes. So this has to be what? 726. Then how many items were ordered in total? You can observe here in our data set. If you observe, I have one column for quantities as well. Now one quantity of chips was ordered. Let's say one day one quantity of easy is ordered. For 2 quantities of chicken bowl was ordered. So here I have the quantity. So how many items were ordered in total? So you can extract that information from this particular column. So let us write the logic for it. So this I can write it as df of quantity. So in this way I can just extract the particular column name. Just you can press tab and that column will be added. Then dot sum. So in this way I am calculating the total sum. How many quantities were ordered? So in total these many quantities were ordered. Now which item was ordered maximum time? Maximum times which item was ordered? Now what does that mean? Well, now for example, chicken ball. Maximum, let's say a person has ordered it how many times? What is the maximum quantity that is being ordered? So for that you can simply write df of quantity, okay, dot max. So here I'll just store it in one variable called as qmax. Run it. Okay, I have not printed the value, right? Now run it. You can observe 15 times. one of the quantity was ordered 15 times. This is the maximum count for it. I hope you're getting it. Now, get the details of highest ordered item. Now let's say you want to know which item was ordered maximum time. Now we found out that one of the item was ordered 15 times. Now which is that item? So to get that information, what you can do, simply copy this. And here you add one more df of whichever was ordered maximum times, right? Here you can just change this to is equal to q max. From this quantity, all the quantities, check which quantity was ordered maximum times, which was ordered 15 times. So run and check. You can observe it is chips and fresh tomato salsa. This was ordered 15 times. Not 15 times, I can say 15 quantities. I'm sorry, 15 times this particular item was ordered. I hope you're getting it. Now, moving ahead to changing the particular data type. Now, let's say you want to change the item price type into float. Now, what is item price here? Now let's say you want to check the data type first. So in order to check the data type, what you can do, simply use df of item price. Okay, and then dot d type. By using this function, you will get to know the type of this particular item price. So item price type is of object, that is it is string. So usually you get this when in item price you have mixed values. So here you can see there are integer values and there are some string values as well. Okay, so you have something like that. So mixed combinations are this. Since these are only 6, we are these are only 4 right here. So we are able to see only the numbers here, that is integers. But you what is our data set? How many rows do I have? I have around 4, 6, 22 rows. So somewhere it might be some strings might be there. So that is why you have got it as object type. Now let's say you want to change it to string type. How can you do that? So you can do that by simply using df of item price. Okay, is equal to df of item price dot str dot replace. Okay, replace this with from dollar comma space. Okay, and here I'm going to use as type. Okay, attribute as type of float. Change it to float. So in this way you can change it from your string object type to the float type. Run and check. So it is done. Now check that whether it is being changed or not. So same thing, you can just rerun this particular command, copy it, paste it here and run over here. You can observe now it is changed to float. So in this way you can change one type to another. Then now let's say you want to know how much was the revenue for the period in the data set. How much revenue did they collect? Now for this particular shopkeeper, what was the revenue? So you can calculate the revenue using this item price. So now first what we will do, we will add all this item price for all our 4622 rows. So to add that, what we will do, we will simply use here df of item price. Okay, and then dot sum. So this is the total sum. Now you can observe some items are ordered twice, some items are ordered 3 times. So you need to multiply this sum with the quantity. Correct? So now in the next line we will write the logic for it. So here I'll write the object as revenue. Revenue is equal to df of quantity okay, and then quantity multiplied by df of item price, not item name, it should be item price dot sum. Print the revenue. So you can observe this is the total revenue for the period in the data set. I hope you are getting it. Now let's say you want to know how many orders were made in this period. So here you can observe we have one column for the order IDs as well. You want to know how many orders were made in a particular period. So for that you have to extract the information from this particular column. So let's write the logic for it. So here let me write df of order ID dot value count dot count. So these were the orders that were made in the period, that is 1834. Now let's say you want to know how many different items are stored. So to know that, we are going to simply use df of item underscore name dot value count dot count. So 50 different items were sold here. I hope you are getting it. Any doubts so far? Okay, so this is all about data exploration. So here I have highlighted few points on data exploration. I have just extracted few information about the data, wherein we are trying to understand which was the most ordered item, how to plot the graph for the 5 most ordered items in order to understand the data set, right? So few things we have done, we can do still more, but this forms the basics for data exploration. I hope you are able to follow. So with this, I will stop here for today. Thank you guys.